Yeah, let's bust these nerves out for our boy.
Our 8-year-olds, what are they called?
Girl candy.
Girl candy? That's it.
All
All right, folks, look. Y'all know what time it is. We're back on the couch. Break the bait. Hey, this is going to be an interesting one. Let me tell you why. Because we've all heard the talk, right, about the potential banning or limiting or something, the removal of some form of forward-face sonar. I don't have a clue what's going to go on. These are just rumors flying around, right? I don't think any of us really know. But I can tell you one thing. If that does happen on any level, these right here are going to be mega players.
For sure.
Why? Because these are chatterbait trailers.
Bladed jig.
Bladed jig.
I mean, no matter if it does or doesn't happen, it's
still a big deal. But I'm saying
player.
for us on our tour, even more so than it already is, it will be heightened and highlighted even more.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say even though still they're probably 10% of the bass caught this year on our tour, or maybe 20% of the bass caught that we weighed in this year on the tour, we're still on chatterbait.
Nah.
No, you're
not 20%, bro.
10.
What? Maybe 10.
10?
Yeah, I think it's.
I'd say
but
so.
But it played big time
at James.
At James, yeah.
It's huge James. I think even the guys who caught him.
I weighed some at James on.
I did.
On vibrating jig.
I caught a lot of them on it.
Yeah, a vibrating jig. I call
Toledo.
What you call it? Chatterbait?
Yeah, chatterbait. Vibrating jig.
Hey, remember the co-invest we couldn't
Toledo,
say
I did not.
You could not say, yeah, you could say anything, bro.
Yeah, no, but like there's a few guys that caught him like that.
All right, look, so we're going to get into the trailers. I'm going to drop in the description box, if you guys want to go back and see the rate debate on actual chatterbaits, get some information on that, what we felt about that, you guys help yourself to it. That'll be in the description. But today we're going to talk about the trailers. So Dustin, I'm going to actually have you kick this one off, man. Because I know you used to throw this quite a bit. You may still. I don't really know. I'm going to let you talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, here we are. We got the Lake Fork Magic Shad. Okay. This is the big one.
Yeah, it is. That's the big one.
This is the big one.
And I think they got a bigger one than that, too.
Believe it or not, I've thrown this bigger one. They got a 3.5 inch.
Yeah.
What is this? The 4.5?
That's the 4. Maybe 4 and a
Yeah,
quarter.
4.25. I feel like give you a little history on this trailer. Be high. I think through this for a long time. I don't really know if it was this or not. But like the chatterbait kind of came along, and believe it or not, the first time I think I mentioned this was down there at Kissimmee below the Kissimmee Lock.
Yeah.
With Rick Morris.
Yeah.
Not Johnny. Rick Morris. He was down there throwing chatterbait, and that was kind of when it came on scene. And Jacob, I think, you made a ton of money on a chatterbait. Unbelievable amount. But I've thrown this as a trailer a pretty good bit. And what's cool about this is you've got a ton of action. I mean, it isn't really a consistent action, but behind that bait the whole time you need a little bit of jiggle. You know what I'm saying? I need a little jiggle.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I would say about this bait in particular that I don't like is the narrow little head of it. A lot of times that'll split.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
That narrow head will split.
Not often, though.
Yeah, but I normally, I'll bite him off, and then I would put him on there. But I really do like this bait. I think they got a lot of colors and all that, but for me, he's kind of a lot now. Like he's got a ton of action.
Yeah.
I feel like I need something a little more subtle. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I've kind of transitioned a little bit. I don't throw him near as much as I would, but I'm gonna rate him just based off of the durability and all that. I'm gonna rate him just real quick. I'm gonna give him a 7. I'm gonna give him a straight up 7 out of 10. They did a good job with this bait, and I feel like this was one of the first kind of staples for a chatterback trailer.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it.
Go
And
ahead.
by the way, Jacob put me on that
Yeah, no
a long
doubt.
time ago.
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna go ahead and say this right here, and similar to you, I throw the smaller version. This right here is my go-to chatterbait trailer, bladed jig. And up until last year, this is the only one that I would throw.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I flat caught him on it. Now, the only weird thing is, for whatever reason, you used to rig this thing upside down.
Dustin
And I'm gonna
still
let you. I don't even know why you did that, but I'd always knock you about it because the colors would just be a little bit different. But hey, for me, I love this bait. Lake Fork did a phenomenal job. Now, personally, I feel like this plastic is extremely hardy. You know, most soft plastics out there, you catch 1 or 2 bass, like, you know, you got to replace your trailer. This trailer here, I mean, dude, I've caught 20 bass on one trailer before.
Wow.
On this bait. So extremely hardy. I really like the plastic. It's got great action. The colors, of course, you know, they've got a wide variety of different colors. They actually make a boot tail on this thing too, but I personally haven't thrown in. I think more streamlined for a bladed jig is better. Me personally, I know a lot of guys do like a boot tail or something like that, but I'm gonna give him a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
I think it's a really, really good bait.
9.
Yeah, I kind of got to agree with you on that, Adrian. Like, off the top, I'm going to go ahead and rate this bait. I'm going to give him a 9 too, man. Because this was like probably, I don't know, like the first sufficient chatterbait trailer that I got introduced to that just flat out caught him.
Yeah.
I mean, the action on this thing. You know, have you ever took this bait right here? If you Texas rig this bait and see the swimming action in there, it's unbelievable. I don't know. Yeah, you put it on a weighted belly weight, and you can't expose the hook past this first solid piece.
Past that joint.
Past this joint because they don't swim. But if you put it up here, a 3-0, dude, this thing swims like this, like an actual fish, bro. It's unbelievable. It's crazy. But anyway, phenomenal bait, man. The colors, the action, kind of like what Dustin said. These days, they see them so much, it can have a little too much action. But by them being probably, I'm going to say one of the OGs in the chatterbait trailer game, I don't even think they originally made this as a chatterbait trailer. It just turned into that.
You just turned into that.
But dude, it's a bad boy, man. And Lake Fork did a great job with this bait. And like I said, man, he's a 9 out of 10 without getting too carried away. I'm gonna let Jacob do. I'm gonna let the historian do that.
Historian.
So I've won.
You start off with I won.
Millions.
No, I've won probably like no joke, probably like over $750,000 on using this bait on the back of the chatterbait. I have.
What a life.
Godly.
So I part of the reason when I won the cup back in 2012, I caught him on a Lake Fork magic shad on the back of a chatterbait. Actually, a Phoenix vibrating jig.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Hey.
OG.
Before all the other stuff.
Did we talk about that in the chatterbait video? I think we did.
I think we might have talked about it.
I don't know if we touched on it.
So it was back in the day. This is 2012. This is before like a jackhammer and everything else came out. But originally, the reason why we picked so many minnow baits, this is the whole thing behind this deal. Like the minnow baits make your chatterbait hunt. When you have something like a swim bait or a crawl style trailer, it tracks so much more, and it basically stabilizes your bait so much more. Like if you throw a buzz bait, throw a toad, stabilize your bait so much more. So minnow profile baits allow for your chatterbait, your vibrating jig, whatever you're throwing, custom bait. It allows for that bait to hunt like an old school crankbait and come out of track and make this fish react. So that's why a minnow profile bait is such a big deal in the chatterbait world, just as much as it was with a Berkley B2 or a DD6 or anything else. It was always about the hunting action of the crankbait that allowed for those, like there's some crankbaits that reacted better than others. And that's why minnow profiles are such an impactful profile to generate bites. So anyway, that being said, Magic Shad was one of the first, from my understanding, really made it popular from B-Height before he created the Zako and everything else. But to me, it is the original OG. Was not designed to be put on a chatterbait. It was designed just to reel around, just on a hook. But it turned into that. So yeah, I mean that was really the sort of the history behind it. And it's just a bait that has a great action. It's not too much. Still allows for that bait to dart around. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
But tell us why you rig it upside down.
No, I ain't talking about that.
Give us the game.
No.
Come on, we want the game.
And the Nuggets. I know J-Dub's gonna give
there's
up
always something.
83%.
You can look at it. I've not thrown this bait for a few years, but there was something they did.
So what does it matter? I really want to know.
No, can't tell you on this. I'll tell you guys.
Well,
put
look.
it in your pool and find out.
No, just rig it upside down from now on. You'll be good.
Dude, I tried.
It bothers
And
me.
I didn't
with
get
the
any
color.
more bites, so I just flipped it back.
Yeah, kept it regular.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like doing something different.
Throw it in
Once
your
you go
face.
upside down.
9 out of 10.
DC rigs his upside down too. But Jacob showed him, so there you go. All right, so I'm gonna kick off this second one, and this is my favorite chatterbait trailer, man. I'm just y'all know me. Y'all know me. I used to be with Z-Man.
I've never rigged that.
They're a great company. A lot of people don't throw this. Now you can look at this bait and see right off the bat some of the similarities of this guy right here. Now, of course, with Z-Man being the creators and designers and originators of the chatterbait, of course they want to make a really good trailer that's going to perform well on that bait. I personally think they did an outstanding job with this razor shad. It's called a razor shad. This is literally the chatterbait trailer I'll have on 95% of the time. Me. I'm just talking about me. What I love about them is we all been there. When you get on a good chatterbait bite, bro, you run through some trailers. Or if you skipping boat docks, you run through some trailers. You lock one of these bad boys on your jackhammer, you done for the day. I'm talking about you'd have to be catching northern pike to run through some trailers, bro. Seriously, that's just the durability of this. What's it called, Jacob? TPE?
TPE.
That TPE, bro, it's crazy. Elastec, TPE,
yeah, but it's
whatever.
TPE is actual.
Dude, it's unbelievable, man. I love this bait. But, you know, like I said, there's room for improvement in everything. And the one thing I will knock on this bait is this is a lot of TPE. And what this does is it floats really high in the water column, very buoyant. So if you're trying to keep your chatterbait down and get it deep, this is not going to be the trailer for you. But in grass situations, skipping boat docks, things like that, when I'm fishing shallow, the durability and the action, which is very similar to this guy, I really like. And so for that, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10.
So less than the Lake Fork.
Yeah, the list is, he's in my box right now.
Yeah.
I still rock with him too. But 90% of the time, I got him on, and you just got to give Lake Fork the credit because they're the originators.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to get ahead and hop in. So there are certain situations that Elastec is the only way to go.
Yeah.
And just from hearing you talk and hearing you break down, like, it makes a lot of sense because when you throw both these baits, they both have very similar actions.
They do.
And for you guys that are throwing bladed jigs, a lot of times you're putting them in literally places where, underneath docks, underneath undercut banks, really skipping them. It's a lot of abuse on the bait.
Yeah.
So you do run through a lot of trailers. So from that aspect, I probably should start throwing this bait a little bit more straight up.
It's like anything else in fishing. It's confidence.
It is.
Because I was with Z-Man,
Yeah.
I gave it a legit opportunity. I'm like, I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
And dude,
But I do believe with Jake when he was talking about chatterbaits and what this does to certain baits, and like there are certain soft plastics that don't have enough meat to them that your bait will actually blow out too much.
Yes.
So I don't have a whole lot of experience throwing this bait. I honestly probably try to experiment here after hearing you talk and break down, because I do like the concept of it, especially in situations where you're skipping a lot of boat docks, around shad spawn, that type of thing maybe.
Yeah.
But open water fishing, I've got one that I personally like, and but when it comes down to certain situations, I'm definitely gonna have him tied on. But in that, I'm gonna give him 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
I do like the clamshell. It's a big deal.
Oh yeah.
Packaging.
Yeah, you
Keep them straight.
All right. I ain't going to touch on a lot, but I'm going to tell you one thing. I like the TPE, but it's hella hard to put on a damn hook.
Man,
it's so
I
hard
done
to get it
showed
straight
y'all
on
boys
there.
how to do that.
Listen, y'all already know. Y'all slide in the comments. I love this stuff, and it's very I'm just telling you, I can't break it. I can't.
You legit tried.
But I'm gonna tell you something else. You can't put him on a chatterbait very good.
Man, I do it.
Hey, with that little trick.
With that, you don't do that trick.
Oh, you don't?
If you put it on the jack, jackhammer has that
Prongs.
prongs.
You go get a jackhammer right now. That thing will be balled up. Look, it'll be
No.
crooked and balled
No,
up,
it will not,
twisted
bro.
like that on my chatterbait, and I'm like, God almighty.
Bro, I put him on so easy every time. It's so
Man,
easy.
that thing's hard to put
No,
on.
it's not, bro.
All the people
Conventional
in this
angler
video,
thing.
y'all comment below if it's hard
The
to put
conventional
on.
angler is tough one.
I'm the conventional
I can
angler.
see people
It's
getting
tough
really
on me.
frustrated with it.
Yeah, for the
Well,
conventional
but
angler, that's the biggest.
I mean, to
issue.
your defense, I've always
It's
had a
hard
lot of
sliding
people.
on there.
A lot of people always said that, but I
I
just
got
I
6
don't
out
know.
of
I've never
probably
struggled
like
with it.
7 out of. I was like 7 out of 10 people.
I'm one of the 7.
Oh, that's crazy to me. I don't know.
It's
It's
tough.
hard.
It is tough. It takes a little bit more, obviously, than PVC versus TPE. You have to have.
It's like a damn algebra equation. I'm just telling you, I'm sitting on there trying to put this thing on. I'm like, God dang, and I'll finally get it on there.
It is easy to rig.
And then you got him all jacked up.
And then I ain't happy with it.
I'll put him on perfect
Then
every
it's over,
single
you gotta
time.
take them off. And then by the time and then guess what? The jackhammer's got them 2 big old prongs on him, and he done cut him in half and all that on them. It's aggravating. This guy, 0.5 out of 10.
Negative 0.5.
0.5 out of 10. No, I'm just playing. No, it ain't 0.5. I'm gonna give him just because he is a good profile and he's hella tough. 6.2.
6.2 it is.
The only reason he ain't 7.2 is because he's hella hard to rig. Straight up. See, man, you know that's hard to rig.
It is not, bro. That's crazy.
I have a few of these. I don't throw them very often. Very very unique situations. For the most part, it really comes down to like shallow water, like anything 2 feet and less.
Yep.
I'm really trying to do that. The majority of the time, I'm fishing chatterbait a little bit deeper. I want to get it down towards the bottom. So overall, it is difficult to rig. So the conventional guy, it is a little more difficult to rig. Yes, you will have some issues with like tearing and stuff like that, but it does. Like once you get it on the right, you're good. And because there is not a lot of salt, or actually 0 salt in this one, actually, it does not rust the hook out.
Right.
So you can keep it on there for a long period of time. So if you get them on there, good for you.
If you don't, you cuss
If you don't, drop a comment below. Talk about how much you hate this bait. It's fine too. I'm going to give him just because he's different and because he adds something a little bit different. Like I said, you could literally throw this bait versus another PVC bait, and it'll go literally 2 feet shallower.
Yeah.
Versus a PVC bait
Yeah,
because it's that much. This bait right here would stand up like a ½ ounce jig head.
Yeah.
So you literally are talking about that much more buoyancy. It's like balsa versus like a weighted balsa crankbait, like actually like a spinning crankbait. It's like the difference in like the depth that the crankbait will dive. So that's really the key with that more than anything. It allows for you to go shallower with a bigger profile and all that good stuff. So overall, I'm gonna give him like a 6.5 because I feel like it's a good bait. It's a bait that you could have, but it's a bait that I don't throw all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
What's next?
What we got next? Avena.
We'll kick them off.
Yeah, you got 2 of them over here.
2 different size. Oh, well, yeah.
2 different sizes?
Well, no, these are the same size. But
Oh, you got 3 of them over here.
yeah,
There you go.
There's 2 different sizes.
God,
Figured I'd grab them both. I didn't know which ones you guys wanted to see. So this here is the Power Bait Power Stinger. This bait's been out for probably about 2 years now. Comes in 2 different sizes. The 3.5 and the 4.25. One thing that I really like about this bait, and that's also I was kind of touching on Z-Man, whenever it comes down to these types of baits, it's really important for your bait to be straight.
Yeah.
And right out of the package, you can see this here comes in a clamshell. You're seeing a lot of soft plastic companies nowadays really starting to transition to that. A lot of the Rapala Crush City stuff is like that.
Yep.
So for that, I really do like.
Yep.
This bait here, it's similar plastic to like what I would almost consider like the Lake Fork. It's a harder plastic, so it is a bait. Here we're actually on the St. Lawrence River. I caught a bunch of bass, this week on a bladed jig, a bunch of largemouth, and I've caught, 8 or 9 bass on one bait, never had to change out. So it's a bait that you can catch a lot of bass, and you're not constantly have to rechange. Like we didn't talk about the Zako yet, right? We didn't talk about it yet. All right. Yeah. So it's not like that bait. And it does have a honeycomb tail. So like, have you thrown the call shad? I know you've thrown.
Yeah, I've thrown the call. I've thrown him too.
You have thrown this guy too. So the honeycomb tail, it's just a little bit different. Instead of having joints like you see in the Lake Fork, like you see in the Razor Shad, the honeycomb tail, it's a little bit different design. So it does have a slightly different action, which is a big deal. Because at the end of the day, a lot of times you want to be throwing something a little bit different than the guy that you might be fishing around or fishing behind.
Yeah.
So man, overall, they did a great job on this bait. I'm going to give this bait an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5.
8.5.
Oh, you want me to go next?
Yeah, you already got him, Sizzle.
I got him in my hand right now. I'll tell you something. I've never thrown this bait. Low key, ain't never held him in my hand.
You like him though.
I like the honeycomb.
I can tell. I seen you looking at him.
I fool with the honeycomb.
Good bait.
I do. I see this honeycomb, what you talking about. I never knew that was called that, but I'm sitting there looking at the action of it. I like how he's like very, very consistent through there. So he's very tough. I'm gonna make it quick. Never throwed him. I'm gonna throw it out there. 7.6.
7.6.
Pretty high rating considering I never thrown it.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a good bait. I think he'll catch some.
Yeah, I need him back because I need him for tomorrow.
Oh, I'm keeping it.
Straight up. I guess it's on me, huh? All right, so I've thrown this bait. I actually bummed some of these from Adrian, which we always bum and tackle, right? Adrian's like, man, I don't got none similar to what you like, but I got these. And I was looking at it and I was like, man, what is this? Wasn't really up on what this honeycomb action would do. But this is a great little bait right here. Like he said, the durability of the bait is all toward the front where your hook will come out and pop out. And then from where your hook pops out back to the tail, there's this honeycomb which allows for a lot of movement and action in this bait. And this bait is phenomenal in the water, man. And I like him a lot. And not to mention, like we always mention, you forgot to mention, it's power bait.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know I like my scent, bro. So I'm sitting here sniffing. He stank like everything else.
I mean, of course it matters, but I don't think it matters as much.
It doesn't.
in the blade jig.
But my thing is, if it's a
Can't hurt.
it can't hurt situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like scent in general.
Yep.
So they got me on that. Berkley did a good job with this bait, man. I'm gonna give him a 8.0 out of 10. Yep, I like him.
Okay. All right. So power stinger.
Mm-hmm.
Cool little bait. So sort of history behind the honeycomb aspect. So company company out of Japan created a bait very similar to a gilly.
You need
Yeah.
him for
And
more.
then Berkley came out with a gilly and really just had the inspiration off of a lot of that honeycomb action, which really allowed for the bait to move right.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool to see this in a trailer because it's never been done before. Something unique. They took that same technology and utilized it in a trailer, which allows for less plastic to have more freedom of action.
Yep.
So I thought that was really cool. Overall, I did. I really thought that was unique. It's a good profile. It fits a vibrating jig really well. It does have a good kicking action, and it just fits the bait well. It has a hard plastic like Adrian was talking about, which is really important when you're talking about a vibrating jig and a chatterbait overall because you don't want to be changing them out you don't want to be changing your bait out every fish. That is the most annoying thing
Ever.
especially if you're skipping around and whatnot. So I realistically overall, I've thrown this bait in the pool, looked at it. I've looked at a lot of baits. I think it's a good bait. I'm gonna give it like a 7 out of 10. I think it's a solid bait, and I think it's a good bait to add to your arsenal for sure.
Yeah. All right. Who ain't kicked one off yet? You ain't, Jacob. I don't believe it. And we can't go into chatterbaits and trailers and not talk about this guy. So on Break the Bait we usually do just 4 baits, sometimes even 3.
There's
But
so
there's so many good chatterbait trailers, so we had to I think do 5, maybe.
Yeah, you do that one and let him do that last one.
Yeah, you do this. I go. I'll do this one.
Oh yeah, you got yeah.
Go
All
ahead.
right, y'all. Look, we gotta talk about this bait because this was also designed. I say also, it was designed by B-Height. B-Height's probably won more money on chatterbait. I don't know than anybody. He's won a lot of tournaments on it. But anyways, this bad boy has the rib sides a lot like the Lake Fork, and I feel like that was the inspiration for this bait. Now, the one thing about Yamamoto, 2 things: heavily salted bait. So totally opposite from this guy right here. You want to get your bait down in the water column. This can be an option for that because it's very dense and heavy. It's going to keep your bait down. Now, just like Senkos and Flapping Hogs, I love me some Yamamoto. It all works great. But durability is an issue with this bait. And so you catch 2, 3 fish, 4 fish on him, you're probably going to have to put another one on. But at the end of the day, it is a good bait. It catches them. I'm gonna give him a 7.5. I ain't in love with this bait, but he does catch them and it does work. That's just me personally.
You give him Jacob.
Give him to Jacob.
Right.
Jacob.
Hey, I'm gonna burn it down real quick.
Uh-oh.
The Gary Yamamoto Zako. Okay,
Is it Zako or Zako?
Zako. Okay,
Who knows?
whatever.
Tomato.
Zako. So however you want to say him. So obviously stemmed off of the Magic Shad. B-High had a lot of success off the Magic Shad. And then you have this Zako that comes along. It's more of a vertical tail. The first thing for me is definitely durability. You're definitely like you're 1-2 fish max a lot of times. I mean, and realistically, I've looked at all these in the pool. He doesn't really have that action at all. Like when you look at him, he just appears like he might have action.
Right.
But he's super dull, dude. He's like a lazy guy back there.
He's lacking the action. So to me, if you're gonna be like less durable, you better have something to add to it.
Sure.
And I don't think this bait's that good, personally.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't throw him. I don't have him on boat. I mean, personally, and I'm not. It's just me straight up with y'all. I think he's there's a lot of other chatterbait trailers all around that I feel like I would throw way before this. And I'm gonna give him like a just testing. I'm gonna give him a 4.5.
Yeah.
Under.
Wow. Damn.
Just shoot him.
That's what it is.
4.5. That's how he feel. That's what we do on Rate Debate.
You gotta be straight
You
up.
gotta keep it 1,000.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's what we do.
And you touched on it.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you touched on it a little bit. So I'm gonna also rate this. I don't throw this bait either.
Hold on, last thing. Other thing is he gets kinked up because he doesn't have a clamshell. So there's three negatives right
Yeah, because
there.
I mean, like him right here.
He's supposed to be a vertical tail. Now he's
Supposed
not
to be
kinked
vertical.
up.
He's flat. Yes, they're super inconsistent. With soft plastics, man, that's the one thing that's got to be important to me. Is it has to be important. It has to be streamlined. It has to be consistent.
Yeah.
But you touched on it a little bit before. Low key, you can rig one of these up tonight. Tomorrow morning, if there's like some condensation in there, your bladed jig hook is already rusted.
Yeah.
Boy, ain't no
Like,
way, what?
dude,
Is
I
he
promise
full
you.
of salt?
Like if you leave this on there, if you okay, say I throw this in a turn.
Yeah.
Say I throw this in a turn. I go home. I put my boat in the garage. 2-3 days goes by. I go back in my garage. Go rig tackle. My hook's gonna be rusted.
Your hook's rusted. 100%.
So my $16 jackhammer
is rusted.
or my
It's
slobber knocker
now it's
is literally a practice bait.
it's a practice chatterbait.
Yep.
Yeah.
So to me that's awful. I'm gonna rate this bait 5 out of 10.
Dang, boy, y'all.
The only advantage of that bait is to get a little bit deeper.
See, I don't see that,
He-
man.
he-
Did you see that?
Yeah, so you have more salt in him, so he does sink a little bit faster.
See, to me, I thought because he's got more profile, he's a little bit thicker than all of them.
Yeah.
To me, I think he doesn't get down that good. Like you reel him, he planes up. To me, I want you to go home and throw him in your pool and tell me
I
that.
thought him a little bit more.
Because to me, he
When I threw him in the
actually
pool, it was more
planes-
action, more.
Yeah, he actually, to me, he doesn't get as deep as the Lake Fork
Huh.
or that power swinger.
Interesting.
So when you said that, I was like, dang.
All right, I'm
I
gonna
didn't
say a
know-
little aspect that y'all ain't talked about.
All right, DC, let me hear it.
One little aspect that y'all ain't talked about. See how he's real floppy?
Real floppy.
He's got a little floppy. I mean, he's real floppy. In my opinion, I don't like that. I kind of go back to the magic shaft. I've kind of got to where I'm like, I need a little more rigid, because you got to think a lot of times, like skipping a chatterbait, that floppy toppy, that floppy stuff, that kind of hinders you from skipping.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to skip, that thing's sitting there just flopping and then just rolls your bait and it goes underneath there. You have a more rigid bait, it's like throwing a toad on a buzzbait.
Yep.
It's more rigid.
Yep.
So all this floppiness is resistant in the water when you're trying to skip around trees, and you can skip a chatterbait. I mean, you can skip it in places, but he's kind of bulky and floppy. I don't really like that. Now, as far as durability and all that, and the colors, phenomenal. We ain't talked about one other thing: price point.
Definitely.
In my opinion, all the other baits are like $6-7 bait. These $10, $11.
Yeah, 12 pack.
They $11 a pack.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's a 12 pack of beer.
For 6 baits, bro.
No, wait, there's not no 12 pack of beer. I don't know what you do.
No, it's not. Back in
That's a six pack.
Yeah, back in like 2009 it was.
Right.
At Rite Aid. All right, but anyway, he's kind of floppy toppy. I'm gonna give him a 6 out of 10.
All right.
It's hot tail.
There we go. We got one left. Is that
All
good?
right. There is a lot of money on this bait though too.
Oh,
It's
that's
crazy. It's crazy.
That's a bad boy.
It's crazy.
There are so many touring anglers that are probably watching this video right now and telling us
Shaking
we're
their
crazy. Just like what we did to the
Dude,
Yamamoto Shad.
yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So there's
I ain't
there's
saying
a-
he ain't a bad
It's all
boy.
about
He's
what
a
you got
bad
confidence
boy.
in.
Well,
It's just
that's
Tom.
all
there is an
And
angler that
Jacob's number one thing is efficiency, and
that
because
is not an efficient
No.
bait at all.
no,
There was an angler that was throwing a chatterbait on in a tournament, and he was like, "Dude, I just keep on like my base keepers went off." I said, "What are you throwing?" He said, I'm throwing a Zako." And I said, "Big dog, what are you doing?" Like, and he's like, he just talking. I was like, I said, throw a freeloader, throw an ang, magic shad.
people are
like,
so
be
loyal to that
efficient.
bait too.
And I'm
Oh,
like,
they are.
and they're just so caught. Listen, I understand be high that
No.
like that's great, but like,
Let me tell you
I'm a
something.
skeptic.
It ain't that. For the people that are loyal to Yamamoto,
It's a lot of that.
they loyal to Yamamoto.
Well,
It's the same way with a Cinco.
Yeah.
That's the only Cinco they gonna throw.
yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I can't blame them. It's all about
It's all
confidence.
confidence, bro.
It's
That's
all
the
confidence.
thing. Look,
That's it.
this probably got
And
the
Yamamoto
worst
got
rating.
phenomenal
But
bait.
this is the one I like the most. I mean, it's just all.
It all is
bro.
confidence, really.
For
But
sure.
that's
That's
just
right.
depending on how shallow you really like to get.
Yes,
Or you can
definitely.
throw a 3/4 and get the same action out of that and the same different. So there's all little different things.
Sure,
Really
sure.
fast.
There's little unique things. So anyway,
Alright.
so last but not least is the Crush City Freeloader. This guy has obviously won a ton of money on a jig head, but also great on a chatterbait as well. This is a black blue green pumpkin. Colors are good. This is a PVC, not TPE, but it is a very durable plastic. This bait was designed, more so to where it's like I look at chatterbait trailers and minnow profile chatterbait trailers like I do my crankbaits. Okay, you have wide wobbling, a lot of action in certain like for magic shad. If I want a really aggressive, like more action just rolling around, and then I have more subtle, like almost like a shad wrap.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, as more pressure has gotten on our lakes, more subtle movements and tighter actions have generated some more bites. So I personally like something like this one right now. Not all the time, but I throw it over half the time. Where back in the day when they didn't see those profile baits, they would just bite them. So it just changes. It's like shaking a minnow. It just changes like with everything else. So that's why you see everything that we have here basically stemmed, other than the power stinger and this bait right here, stemmed off of Fork Magic Shad.
Yep.
Where this bait was more so a combination of I wanted a minnow profile, but I wanted more of like a pointed tail. And shout out to Hog Farmer and also iShad from Jackal. So the originator, iShad was originators of like this pintail deal, and then Hog Farmer, the company here in Tennessee, actually sort of had a pintail. And I was like, this is a good bait as well. So it's sort of like a combination of sort of what I really like personally with a minnow profile, flat sides, not a ton of plastic, but giving me the durability that I need. So overall, this bait, I trashed them the first day on the James River on this bait with a chatterbait. It's been a bait that I've caught a lot of big fish on. The only thing that I'm going to knock it right now is I only have one size. So I only have one size to really be able to utilize it. If I had it's a 4 1/4. It's perfect for most solid fish. If I wanted a little smaller one to put on like a mini max, something like that, I don't have that. So that's the only thing I don't really have. I don't have a 5.5. I want a bigger profile, or for a 5 1/4. So overall, just for me, caught a ton of fish on it. Obviously, making it, I'm going to give it a 8.2. Hookup ratio is great. I also know a lot of plastic, so my hookup ratio, I have a straight hook. So 8.2 is what I rate the Freeloader. For a chatterbait trailer.
All right, Crush City. So funny, of course, I've thrown this bait a ton on a jig head minnow, right? Caught tons of fish on it. I've actually never thrown it as a chatterbait trailer, which I know is probably one of the original designs of the bait, but it works so well in many different situations. The one thing I do like about it is what Jacob already touched on, of course, is how this bait tapers down from thick to small, and it has a subtle action. Like he said, this is something we deal with every single day as professional anglers. There's just more pressure on these lakes. These fish have seen it all, and it's just hard to get them to bite sometimes. Something that's doing all this, right? Sometimes you need to come through a little quieter. a little stealthier, and something with a more thin pin style tail, not as much action will get you bit. But I just know the power of this bait in general, and I know it's dope because I've caught a bunch of fish on it, and so I can't really. There ain't a lot I can knock on this bad boy because it's a fish catching mofo. I got to give him my 8.5, bro. And like I said, I never even used him, but I need to probably play with him a little bit.
He's a good plastic. He's a good plastic. It's all about efficiency.
And he's durable.
He's durable.
Yeah, he's not going to tear up.
He's got a good action. He's got good colors.
Yeah.
He's got good. The only thing
Y'all did phenomenal on the colors. Now
Yeah.
that I will. Y'all got some really good
Yeah.
colors.
And I mean,
it's clamshell packaging.
yeah, clamshell with crushed city across the board. And I mean, this bait was designed for a bladed jig, was it not? And it just so happened that minnow fishing got
Really popular.
really popular.
Yeah.
So that was just a timing deal. For me, I mean, I've thrown it a little bit on a bladed jig because I seen you had one tied on. I'm like, man, well, if Jacob's throwing it, maybe I should try and throw it, you know? But at the end of the day, it's a lot of it's confidence.
It is.
And for us as anglers, you know, we're all partnered with different brands. You know, of course, I'm partnered, you know, Berkley's a big partner of mine. So for me, you know, of course, I'm going to get ahead, and whenever I can, I'm going to try to utilize the brand that I'm representing because at the end of the day, that's our job, right? Yeah. So for me, I have tremendous success throwing a power stinger.
Yeah.
So that's really what I throw day in, day out. But I have tried this, and it does look extremely well. So if I got these things for free, I'd probably throw them too. You know what I'm saying? But no, it's a really good bait. The one thing I like, and I'm gonna compare it a little bit to the power stinger, but the one thing that I really like about this bait and the power stinger is whenever you get on like a really good, like, you know, we're fishing northern country. You know myself, I'm from the Northeast, and we fish a lot of northern bodies of water, and then large amounts just flat out chew, right? So like a lot of times, you know, we're going through a lot of bass, you know, catching a lot of fish. Crush City soft, like the material that they have is extremely durable. And when it talks about, you know, I already mentioned a little bit about the power stinger, about, you know, skipping them around, being a high impact bait, being able to catch multiple fish, that's a really big deal. But the other thing is this tail, similar to the power stinger, them ones that nip you, they don't just rip the tail off all the time.
They don't break him off.
Yeah, to whereas the jointed baits tend to rip a lot easier.
They do.
And that's one thing I really like about the power stinger, and that's one thing that if I probably threw this more, I would then like it and transition more to this bait than I would maybe like the Zako or the Magic Shad.
Right.
But Jacob, you did a hell of a job. We already talked about it, you know, in the jig head minnow episode that we did.
Yeah.
Did a hell of a job on this bait. Colors are outstanding. I'm gonna get ahead and I'm gonna give that bait a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it is a really good bait.
All right. Quick history lesson. I used to throw a super fluke on a chatterbait.
Really?
Yep. That used to be the deal in Gunnersville.
Yeah.
Shout out to all my old G-ville fishermen. I know a bunch of them people in G-ville.
Super fluke.
A super fluke.
They just throw a fluke.
Really?
Yeah, they put a fluke on the back. 100%.
Yeah.
Back in college, Blake Johnson, my boy, Blake used to just throw like a white chatterbait. You throw an albino super fluke on there and just roll it on there. The only problem with the fluke was he had a very
Cavity.
he had that cavity
that slid in him
in there, and you couldn't put him on a chatterbait really that good because he wouldn't keep on there. He wouldn't stay on there.
There wasn't enough plastic.
Skin him
There
on the
wasn't,
back.
there
Like
wasn't
skin the back
enough
on.
plastic
Between the cavity.
and the head of the bait. So what I mean by that is from that area all the way up to the top where it mounts at, or whatever you want to call it, sits on there, rests on there. And then also for a spinnerbait. Now I know this is not a spinnerbait deal, but I always threw a War Eagle spinnerbait. And I always wanted to throw a super fluke on there. But I had the same dang problem. Because when I put him up on there, he wouldn't stay because he only had that much hanging on there. It was literally that much. Well, this one has more. Okay, what I've noticed, it has more in there, so I can throw him on a spinnerbait, a chatterbait. You can shake a minnow with him. Actually, one Toledo Bend shaking a minnow on this. This is not a minnow shaking video.
Hey, but it's the bait though.
But James River, I actually weighed in a bunch on a chatterbait with this, and it was one of my first few times throwing him with it. Absolutely love him. Very subtle. You can see the action just like that. I mean, the whole time he's just boom. So very durable.
The reason that bait had a slit too was so I had one without and one with in proto, and it had more action with a slit because it just basically broke it up. Sort of like imagine like the honeycomb.
Yep.
You're breaking up plastic a little bit more. It's not as solid, so it allows for the bait to have more of that
freedom.
flexibility and freedom.
Yeah.
So that was the reason we went that. As long as it fit it correctly, that was sort of the reason why I did that. So.
Yeah.
Always
sort
the
of
sleeve was always for like an EWG.
The sleeve wasn't for an EWG, and I was like, I'm not going to use this as a fluke. It's not really a fluke
Yeah.
bait. Like it's more of like a vibrating jig. So obviously a good spinnerbait trailer and a great great minnow shaking trailer or bait. But it's just that was the reason behind it. So
I'm going to be a little biased. 9.7.
Damn.
9.7. The only reason I say that is because
Damn near perfect.
yeah, the only reason I say that is because I transitioned from that magic shad to this, and I caught some fish on them. I just got a lot of confidence on it now.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
all about confidence, and I mean, yes, I am partnered with Rapala, but I'm just telling you straight up, that sucker catches some
Oh, ain't no
ass.
doubt.
You did good. Got to mighty. You did so good. I'm so glad
All right,
you did
y'all,
good
look.
on that. Thank you.
This was a long one. We're gonna wrap this thing up, man. Chatterbait Trailers. I appreciate all my boys taking the time out to sit down and talk with y'all, man. This takes a lot of coordination that y'all don't get to see behind the scenes. But anyway, shout out to them. Y'all make sure y'all follow their channels. It'll be in the description as well. And we'll catch you at the next one. Hey, no, wait. This is the last rate debate for the year, bruh.
Maybe not.
Oh,
dude.
we might catch y'all at the team series.
Yeah.
oh, y'all
Maybe.
made that team.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
say,
we'll
hey,
go over
man,
there,
it
man.
ain't just gonna be you and Jacob,
Hey,
bro.
Good luck.
Good luck. Hey,
Good luck.
We saying the same thing.
Y'all
to
seen the movie Taken? Comment below if you ever seen it.
Hey, take it.
Good luck.
Good luck. Hey, that's hella fun. All right, y'all, we go.